Well, in a lot of ways, I push myself to the absolute limit I can. And I like that. You know, you gotta like yourself somehow, even though, of course, many people will tell you that you're bad in some way or other. They're trying to manipulate you, insult you, control you. But I end up kind of liking me, even though I'm a mess in some ways, damaged, etc. But I've done a pretty good job, a very good job, at doing things that nobody else would do. So, I guess the ways in which I've gone out there, I mean, I started out odd. I don't know if I was biochemically odd or not. I could be. It's entirely possible. But certainly with a strange family history that caused me to have to reject a truth I was offered that isn't true, and break away from my own culture and family. And I was difficult. And then going to schools where I was told to believe things that didn't make a lot of sense. And really, you know, the school part was easy. Having to put up with it was kind of hard. But I did. I followed orders to get my piece of paper that said I could follow orders. And I got my college degree and worked in some cool jobs, actually. Worked in computing with puzzles and things. And it was a great time to be involved in that industry. Really wonderful. There was opportunity, so I was lucky. And I, during college and well, even as a kid, I started reading. And reading was the thing that really put me out there. How far out can I go intellectually? How far can I go out in questioning my own presuppositions? How far out can I go in imagining what kinds of things affect how the world works and how the world could be? So I've been spending my whole life doing that. It's been very enjoyable, actually. It's all a big puzzle. Now, of course, books you can only go so far with, and went further in college. I loved it. There was 27 libraries on the University of Washington campus, and some of them very interesting to me. So I spent a lot more time studying on my own than I did for my classes. My classes were easy. I worked 30 hours a week, put myself through university. I think that would be harder now with the way pricing and debt works. Now I don't think I would have gone to university. I only applied to one, and if I didn't get in, I wouldn't have gone. So it was the cheapest one. I lived in basements and worked my ass off. I did some drugs, and that was fun. I got paid for a computer job in acid by a guy who I didn't know super well, but is a nice guy. And he probably realized he was a bit older than me and kind of maybe a little hippie-esque or something. Not the dumb kind. And so that was an interesting experience. Very mind-opening. And I never really had any problems with the drugs I did. I never had bad trips or all the stereotypical shit people say. And I realize that many people do. And usually it's their own fault because they're stupid. But I wasn't stupid. I was responsible. And so just like a lot of people in the 60s and 70s, I used chemicals to expand my mind. I also, you know, after college, I hiked around and did things. It was great to have an income. Income is awesome. I think it's good to work for other people. There's a lot of people right now who are trying to reject all of the system of doing anything useful, like they have some kind of inherent value. No, you don't have inherent value. You got to serve somebody. You got to serve a lot of people if you want to be useful. Anyway, so that was just that's one minor aspect. Also did a lot of art. Art's another interesting way to expand your mind, and the way I do my own art, it's kind of personal. I can't always describe it, but it's playful and it's an experiential aesthetic experience. For me, it's mostly for me, which I should change. I should sell art because I need money. Other ways I've gone out there, well, I hosted a lot of parties. That was fun. And not just parties, but creating experiences for people with very careful invitations of who's there. And kind of social chemistry of mixing people. Especially, I like to go to other people's parties and look for somebody with a spark in their eye, some weird clothes, something interesting to say, have a conversation with them and get to know them a little bit. And I'd invite them back to my place, not that night, but some other time, for another event. And so I built a social network that way. And it had a really nice vibe to it. It's the happiest I've ever been in my whole life was with, I call it Fay Abbey, my house. And it was just nice people who, a lot of whom don't fit in anywhere else. And, or were new to Seattle sometimes. Or were really smart. Or just really nice. I think nice is a really important attribute. Being nice is more important than being smart. If you're smart but you're not nice, I don't think I want to be around you. That's a terrible thing. It's a terrible waste of intelligence. Anyway, lovely people, lots of odd events and art parties and hot tub parties and dinner parties and parties. And that was great. So eventually I tired of that and I wanted to go deeper with things. And I wasn't totally fulfilled with that, and I had money and job. It seemed easy. And so at 37, I think, I quit my job and thinked around for a couple of years. I was looking for land, looking for a forest to take care of. That's always been a dream of mine, is to plant and be part of restoring the earth that we're destroying. So I didn't find a place in California or Oregon or Washington. I wasn't going to go so far north as Canada. And I looked at places a lot. And in 2000, I came to Mexico as a backpacker. And I realized that while it's drizzly raining up in Seattle, it's really nice in Mexico. And so I thought about that for a bit. And 4 years later, I came down and looked around and bought a forest to be in and to create kind of a space for something different, for building a different culture, for doing the same thing that I was doing at Fay Abbey at my house, doing the same thing that is some of the ideals of Oregon Country Fair or Burning Man have, but making them more longer lasting, more in depth, making them more formalized in some ways. Now I think about that more. So for 13 years now, I've been doing that. I feel like I've been setting up the stage. And I've had a lot of people through, over 3,000. And I've learned from them. And I've learned how people are in ways that I never did before. I always lived in a bubble before. I always lived in a protected zone around me that I enforced. I was very careful about who I was close to, almost always, with a couple mistakes. And now I live in this other strange bubble, and I met the world, a lot of it, coming through to visit. And I learned that not all people are good. I hate to say that, but some people are bad. The reason the world sucks is because people are selfish. They lie. They're unaware. That's probably the nicest insult, that they're unaware. But a lot of them are quite aware of exactly what they're doing. And they're manipulative. They want to take as much as they can and give as little as possible. And I don't like those people. I don't want to be around them. So at this point, I'm changing things quite a bit. Being a little stricter on who can come here. And also going to communicate a lot better on what the expectations culturally are here. Now, That sounds weird. It's intentional community. That's what it is. It's an intentional, or at least, intentional way of dealing with people. And you have to set some standards. Otherwise, you just have the same thing that we have now. You have the same shithole with the same dynamics, the same money issues and politics and conflicts and lies. And I don't want to live in that. And so I've been in a hermit. I've been rejecting everyone. And I would like to change that with great caution. And to do that, I'm going to have to express a lot of things that are complicated. I mostly want to express those to a certain subset of people who can think, who read, hopefully, and are kind, who are going to actively work. And there still will be problems. I mean, I am not qualified to be a perfect person. I'm not going to be a guru or a leader. I may have to be a leader some. I am leading. But I'm going to do it by writing and have very clear and transparent goals of what we believe, what the values are. And if people who like that, then they can come here, potentially, and participate. If they don't like it, I don't want to deal with the conflict. And we don't have to grant everything, certainly. And I'll be gone soon. I mean, I realize very much my own mortality at this point. I'm 50 now, and I'm concerned what's going to happen to the land when I die. Yeah, I mean, you got to think about the meaning of your life, and I've thought about that all my life. But now there's something at stake. It's not just me, fucking around and doing shit. It's, I'm not going to be here soon. The years pass quicker and quicker. And so if I want to be able to die with a smile on my face, knowing that other people are going to be served in a continuing way with a cultural construct, a definition of a cultural way of dealing with each other, a society that can serve people in a deeper way, that we can escape from a lot of the problems that make the world a shithole, then I'll be able to die with a smile on my face. I would like to do that. So that's a lot of the motivation behind me being the ridiculously odd human being that I am. I've always been a freak, so you're welcome to call me one, but it won't really hurt me. I'm happy to be a freak in this world. I sure as hell don't want to be normal. So that's where we're at. And so I'm going to look for people who are on board with that. And it's going to be very few people. I mean, we're talking 1 out of 100,000 people would want that. A lot of people will say that they do. A lot of people will say they're looking for community. And they're not looking to be a part of the creation end of it. They're looking to be part of the taking end of it. The takers and the creators, takers and the makers. It's tricky. Anyway, good luck to us all. That may become my tagline. Good luck to us all. Because we're going to need good luck. And it doesn't matter who you are and whether you even understand what I'm saying that much. I don't care if you don't like it. That's fine. Go ahead. But it's hard to even understand it, I think, because my own path has been so different. So what I'm going to try and do is make a cool place, and people can come in and then they can see if they like it, adjust into it, and if they don't, well, that's okay. They can take the ideas that they like of it and reject the ones they don't and go off and make their own place. I think it's great if we have tens of thousands of social experiments where people figure out how we can live better. So, anyway, rawr, rawr, rawr. Hi, honey. Hi, baby dog. Oh, you're such a sweetie. Yeah.